This is a two-part story. The best part is it demonstrates how one piece of information put together with another can be pretty interesting and surprising, even when the time between the two pieces of information is quite long. Here is part one. The Revenuers. I was around 4 years old and full of questions. My mom was a teacher in a one-room schoolhouse way up in the hill country. Every so often, Mom would take me along for the day. School was old but very sturdy, with a little pot-belly stove in the center of the room to heat the schoolhouse in the winter. She had a small group of kids that ranged from ages 6 up to 16. All walked down from the mountains to the school. Many didn't wear shoes. Not because they didn't have them, it was because they didn't want to wear them. They preferred to be barefoot. As a 4-year-old, I asked the students a boatload of questions that ranged from where are your shoes, where do you live, what do your mom and dad do? They would fuss over me making the day at my mom's school all the more fun and interesting. Mom would set up a small desk with crayons and coloring books to keep me entertained for the day. The kids usually worked on their assignments with the occasional rowdy comment or two. When Mom rang the bell for lunch, recess, or to announce the end of the day, all hell broke loose and the kids rushed for the door. Not wanting to miss out on any fun, I followed right along with them. The road that ran next to the schoolhouse was a one-lane dirt road, heavily rutted from use, erosion, and lack of maintenance. That meant that whenever there was a car driving up the hill, a rare occasion, you could hear that car way before you saw it. It was a quiet, cool fall day and the leaves were starting to turn. The kids were busy working on their studies. Then there was a noise, an unmistakable sound of a large car lumbering up the mountain road. All the kids' heads popped up and stared at the window. As if on cue, all the kids ran to the window to stare out at the approaching car. The kids were murmuring something I just couldn't understand. I did my best to push through the kids to see what was causing all the commotion. Mom, try as she might, was unable to get the kids to return to their studies. Then we saw it, a very large black car with 2 well-dressed gentlemen in the front seat, passing the schoolhouse, making its way up the mountain. The kids were dead quiet. One of the kids said in a low voice, "The Revenuers." It seemed like an eternity, but then we heard boom, boom, that rattled the school windows. The kids didn't move. Then they saw the car come down the hill with a bunch of unhappy guys in the back seat. One of the kids spoke and said, "The Revenuers got my dad, Uncle Bill, and Uncle Joe." The kids watched until the car was out of sight. Then they turned and asked my mom if they could go home early. Mom realized there was little that would be accomplished by forcing them to stay, and so she ended the school day. As Mom and I were driving home, I asked my mom what a revenuer was. I couldn't quite pronounce that word. And what was that booming sound? Mom chuckled and said some of the kids' parents were making something that wasn't allowed. It was many years later before I finally understood what that was all about. To be continued.